My Asexual Life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. So subscribe and hit that bell icon right now. So, are you an asexual person who needs to self-love more? Or are you someone who's not even asexual and you've popped on this channel thinking, I want self-love too? This episode is for you. If you don't know who I am, I'm Sandra Bellamy. I'm author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives book on Amazon and all good bookshops. So do grab a copy of this. 47 asexual stories in there. So go and get a copy of that. Let's crack on with the episode. So asexuals can find it hard to love in a really sexualized world because it can feel so alien to us. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like the world is speaking a completely different language to who we are. And when our mindset and our lifestyle can often be very different as an asexual person, especially if we're on the more sex repulsed end of the asexual spectrum, then it can feel like a real disconnect between you and the outside world. And you can just want to be with yourself, which is a good thing, to spend time with yourself. This is all part of self-love, which is what I want to talk to you about today. So first of all, if you're struggling with self-love, then what I want you to do is bring awareness to the truth of that, because you cannot deal with anything in life unless you're very self-aware of what the difficulties and problems are in your life and how you feel. So it's really important that we bring awareness to how we feel. If we're struggling with self-love, if we've got self-loathing, self-hatred even. I was that person in the past, and that is a really, really horrible and tough place to be in. What changed my life? Well, I didn't think I was worth anything. Like years ago, with things that have happened in my life, my past, etc., childhood bullying, etc., I didn't think I was worth anything. Like, I didn't value myself. And obviously, when you don't value yourself, it's not necessarily that there's anything wrong with you, but it's the way often we've been treated in life that can determine how we feel about each other. It shouldn't do. Hi, Kaylee. It shouldn't do. Outside influences shouldn't determine our worth. But if we've been in dysfunctional relationships in the past, if we've been in situations where we've been bullied in the past, if we've been in really difficult times, we could end up taking that out on ourselves and, you know, looking within and thinking everything's our fault and no one cares and there's something inherently wrong with us. But usually this is not the case. What is the case is that people haven't treated us right. They haven't treated us with respect. They haven't valued our worth. And they haven't really given us the care, time and attention that we needed when we're in childhood, for example, or in certain relationships. And we've taken a huge kind of toll of that weight, of that burden of what they've done. And we put it on our own shoulders, and it's been weighing us down for years. So I think obviously there comes a time when in your life when we have to take control and say, however someone's treated us, we're going to treat ourselves better. But I want you to know that if you lack self-love right now, it's probably not your fault. In fact, you shouldn't blame yourself, because everything happens because of environments, other people, circumstances. Now, while we can't blame other people for everything that happens in our life, hello in chat, we can't do that. We can understand where our pain with our self-loathing and self-hatred, if you've got that, or not understanding yourself or not accepting yourself, we can see where that originated. I think it's very important to be aware of how it originated. And usually it is from other people. Now, some people might not like this because it sounds like I'm blaming other people, and we have to take responsibility and accountability for ourselves. But we can't take responsibility and accountability for ourselves until we bring awareness to how we actually got in that situation in the first place. Like, what is making us not love ourselves? What is making us not like ourselves if this is a position you're in? I was in this position years ago. I'm not in this position anymore. Hence why I can give you advice on what I'm doing that might apply to you. Obviously, everyone's different. So what might work for me might not work for you, but I want you to know that I'm here to share my experiences with you. And hopefully, even if one thing helps you in your life, it's going to have been a good thing doing this stream. And happy Asexual Awareness Week, by the way. It's like the end of Asexual Awareness Week this week. So, so we do have to look back and think, where did this traumatic, if you like, relationship with ourselves, this turbulent relationship with ourselves come from? Because if we're in a position when we're not self-loving or we're not even self-liking, there's got to be some reason for that. And often it is childhood trauma. Often it is the way we were brought up. Often it is the way people treated us at school, at college, at uni. Often it's the way our family, friends, you know, and loved ones or romantic partners might have treated us. They don't necessarily have the right skills to be able to effectively have healthy relationships necessarily. And so therefore they could impart their kind of bad habits and their unhealthiness onto you. And if you were subjected to trauma, if you were subjected to neglect, if you are a genuine victim of these things, then it hurts, right? It really, really hurts. And you're like, why don't people love me? Why don't they just care about me for who I am? Because at the end of the day, we all deserve to be loved for who we are. Unfortunately, there's people in life that aren't going to give us what we want. They're not going to love us in the way they should do. In my opinion, they're not going to love us in the way and care about us with respect, even though they should do. And so some people are going to treat us badly in life. They're not going to treat us well. What we have to do is make sure we're not doing this to ourselves any longer. So we need to find the root cause of why we're not liking or loving or caring about ourselves. And then we need to put a stake in the ground, and we need to realize this is not okay. The way that these people treated us is not okay. So if you look back in your life and you think you deserve to be treated badly and with disrespect and unkindness, you didn't deserve to be treated that way, right? People made you feel that. They made you feel bad about yourself, when in actual fact they shouldn't have been doing that. This is not a good person or people that make you feel this way, right, about yourself, right? So we have to understand where the lack of self-love comes from in our life. We have to bring awareness to it. Like, where are we now in our life? Let me just see what people are talking about in chat. Right. Okay. I'm not going to involve myself in conversations that are not actually relevant to this particular show. So if you didn't know who you are and what you want, how is anyone going to give you what you want or need? Yes, that is very true. But this is why we have to bring awareness to the situation of why we came into not liking or not loving or not caring about ourselves. I do care and love myself a huge amount now, but I've changed on this dramatically in my life. I used to hate myself, my life. I used to loathe myself and all this years ago, till 2012. We're now in 2025. So I changed over a process of 13 years and love myself more and more and more and more. So it's really good. But yeah, you are absolutely right. If you don't know who you are and what you want, how is anyone else going to give you what you want or need? The truth is, some people won't give you what you want or need, even if you do know yourself well, because some people are incapable of doing that, or they're not going to do it. So we have to bring awareness to why we're in the situation that we are. Now, you might have people in your life that are family, friends, relationships, people that should really care about you, right? Because they're part of, like, your blood relatives, for example. But they don't necessarily give you the respect and care and time and attention that you do need and that you deserve. This is not true for every family, but I'm just saying. Okay, so we have to understand that sometimes we want things from other people to give us love for ourselves that we can't get from other people. And this is when we have to realize that we have to give self-love to ourselves, because we can't control other people. We can't control their actions. And sometimes the people that are meant to love us the most actually cause us the most heartache and pain and distress within ourselves. and self-hatred and self-loathing, right? I'm being blunt about this because this is not enough talked about, right? People are always looking to blame the person themselves first and foremost for the reason for not self-loving, but there's usually some traumatic experience in the person's life where they are not getting their needs met from very early childhood, for example, and in romantic relationships, friendships, etc. There's usually some reason for why they're in that position in their life. So once we bring awareness to why we're in that position, we need to then understand, now we have to do something about loving ourselves and give the love to ourselves that these other people can't give or won't give or don't want to give, right? This means that we need to respect ourselves, care about ourselves, comfort ourselves, and be our own best friend. So this is a hard process. If you're used to self-hatred and self-loathing, you're going to be like, well, I don't even want to love myself, right? But there's a very good reason why you should love yourself, right? And this is because you are going to be with yourself. I know this is common knowledge, but I don't think people pay enough attention to it. You're going to be with yourself for the rest of your life, 365 days a year, right? And if you are talking negatively to yourself, self-loathing, self-hating, and bringing yourself down all the time, just think what that life is going to be like if you continue down that path, right? We don't want that for you. There's no reason why you should be going down that path. Other people have put you on that path, but it's up to you to take your personal power back and say, that's enough. I am not allowing the people around me, either past or present, to dictate how I feel about myself. And although some people don't like me, some people hate me, some people might loathe me, some people don't care about me, some people might neglect me, or that's how I feel, I am not going to allow those actions, the feelings from those people to dictate who I am and my life going forward. Because the truth is, we can get away from some of these types of people. Some of them might be a family member you live with, right? And so therefore you can't just up and leave. But at the end of the day, we are not responsible for how they treat us. We are responsible for how we treat ourselves. So we need to say that we do not deserve this treatment anymore. And we need to acknowledge the fact that sometimes the people that we think have a duty of care to us, that should love us and care about us, are not actually going to, or not in the way we wish them to, not in a healthy way, right? So we have to realize that maybe you've got someone in your life right now, maybe you've got a family member, and they just put you down, they belittle you, they make you feel bad about the way you look or what you say or what you do, right? You can't change that person. If we try to wait all our life for that person to change, to accept us for who we are, we could be waiting forever. And that is giving your power over to someone else, right? So we need to bring our power back to us. And we need to say, how am I going to make myself feel better? Because you only get one life. You're with yourself all the time. So isn't it going to be a much better option for you to actually lean into self-love and caring about yourself, rather than neglecting yourself and not respecting yourself and not caring about yourself just because other people made you feel that way? They don't deserve that power in your life and to stay in your life in that position of power over you. They don't deserve it, and they shouldn't be in that, right? So I want you to know that it's not your fault that you feel like that. But what it is your responsibility to do from now on is to take accountability for yourself and your life and your own happiness. This is going to be hard for some of you listening to this. You're going to be like, well, other people don't care about me. Why should I? Because there are lots of people in the world. And just because some people don't care about you doesn't mean to say other people won't. And your job is to look after one person in the world that you was given at birth, which is yourself. You were given you. You weren't given some other person to look after. You were given you. So it's imperative that you take care of you, just as you would a best friend, just as you would your pop idol that you're obsessed with, just as you would when you fixate on your favorite hobby or interest, right? Get obsessed with being good to yourself and doing things that make you happy and that bring you joy, because this is all part of self-love. So if you're new to self-love and you haven't loved yourself all your life and you don't understand it, right? The first step is to understand, like I said, bring awareness to how you got into this frame of mind about yourself in your life. Realize that it's not your fault, and that now you can take back that power and control that other people have had over you for years, making you feel small, making you feel belittled, making you feel bad about yourself. You can take that power away from them, and you can put the power personally back on yourself, within yourself, and rise from within, right? It's not going to be an easy process. This takes a long time, right? It's not an easy fix. I mean, you can love yourself more, but to love yourself truly over a time, more and more and more, takes work. Like any relationship, the relationship with yourself takes work. It is hard work sometimes if you're not used to it, because you default back, if you're not careful, to the way you've always been, to what people have told you about yourself, to the put downs, the belittlement, the bullying, the harassment, the crap. We're talking about crap, aren't we? We're talking about all the shite that people have given you in your life, which is not your fault, but they place that on you and plonked it like this heavy load of cloud and these big weights that just crush you. And you feel like you're crushing and going into a deep black hole, right? But we don't want to go into that black hole anymore. We want to rise from the ashes and we want to be strong in ourselves. But we have to realize this is a step-by-step little process, right? Because if you're used to self-loathing, self-hating, you're not going to go from, oh, I really hate myself, to, God, I really love myself now in a second like that. It's not going to just be like that, right? You have to bring awareness to yourself and to why you should love yourself. And so what you need to do after you bring awareness to why you are in the position you're in, you then, like I said, need to take your personal power back. So what is self-love? What does that even look like if you're not used to it? So self-love, like I said, looks like, if you think about, like, what would your ideal best friend be? And how would you treat them if you were loving on them, right? So it looks like you treat yourself as your own best friend. If you think about yourself not being exactly yourself, if it helps you. Sometimes it's helpful to put distance between yourself and yourself. Because if you self-loathed and self-hated for a long time, you can't really connect necessarily with that person yet. So what I would like you to do is think of yourself as yourself, and then you have like this best friend that's talking to you. And this best friend is like, okay, I really want to make you happy, and I want us to have a good relationship together. And what does that mean for you? Like, how would you like to be treated? Well, let me see. I would like to be complimented. So I want you to get a notepad, get a notepad out and write down, right, what you would like a best friend to say to you, like all the things, right? This is a blank piece of paper, but go ahead and write down, like, what would you like? So picture this best friend, like, what would you like them to do and say to you? So you'd be saying stuff like, well, I'd like them to compliment me because that makes me feel good. I like them to spend some time with me, not looking around and distracted at other people. I would like to have things in my life that I enjoy doing. I would like them to ask me how my day was going. I would like them to show an interest in me. I would like them to praise me when I do something that I think's good. I'd like them to just hang out with me, right? So if you're saying all these things about what you'd like a best friend to do for you, I want you to picture this best friend. There's you and this best friend. This is like an imaginary best friend, if you like. And this imaginary best friend is going to basically lead the way with you, and you're going to be, this best friend is really like another version of yourself, right? It's a best friend version of yourself. But if you find it too hard to comprehend that, because you're like, well, I don't like myself at the moment, so I wouldn't be a friend of mine. So just picture a best friend that you're loving on them, even if they're not loving back on you at the moment. You're loving on them, you love them, you want to spend time with them and everything else, right? And then what I want you to do is all the things that you've said that you want to be treated like, as in that best friend, I want you to do those things with yourself. But if you can't do them directly with yourself, go through this best friend, if you like. Does this make sense? So So what I want you to do is like this best friend, like just everything that you would give a best friend, do that to yourself. So you need to write a list down of the things like I've just said, but do your own list. So if I had a best friend, I like them to spend time with me and hang out, you know. I'd like them to spend quality time with me, put their phone away. I'd like them to praise me. I'd like them to recognize my achievements. I like them to just be there for me each day, you know, and say something nice to me. I like them to really take a deep interest in what I do. So all of those things I need to now do for myself. Now, because I self-love, I already have self-love. I can give these things to myself. But I also have like this inner best friend, which more like a coach. I have like an inner coach. So that if I can't do these things myself because maybe some trauma's going on, I have like a coach talk to me, like in my mind, and say, hey, Sandra, like, what are you doing at the moment? You need to get some nutrition for yourself. Because nutrition like elevates your emotional state. It makes you feel better. So if you're having crappy food, you're going to feel bad about yourself, right? But if you have really good food, then you know, you're going to make yourself feel better. So your food can change your emotional state, right? I'll look at chat in a minute, like I'm going through these steps for people who really need my help right now in self-love. So I know there's stuff going on in chat. So if you've got sensible questions, put them in chat, but or leave them till later on so I can get to the Q&A part of this live stream. So, and yes, it is live. For people asking in chat, is this live? Yes, it's live. So we bring awareness, like I said, we've gone through the stage of awareness, and then we've come to understand that we self-hate or self-loathe, not because of ourselves, but because of the way other people have treated us. And now we need to take our personal power back, say that is enough, and we need to realize that we are now responsible for our own happiness and that we can't change other people. There might be some people who are really close to us but are still not giving us the respect and care we need. Obviously, with those type of people, you need to either walk away from them for good after you've talked about how you feel to them, or limit your time with them if it's a situation where you live with them or something, you can't just get away from them, right? But ultimately, you want to be in a position where you're going through your life and that you're able to walk away from people who are not treating you well, or at least limit your time with them, and spend more time with yourself, treating yourself the way you'd like to treat a best friend, and be that best friend to yourself. So if I'm putting these things that I've said I want a best friend to do with me into practice on my own, self-loving, what would that even look like? Okay, so if I'm looking at the things I want, I like praise. So when I'm going through my day, if I'm doing something that's difficult, for example, it might not be difficult to other people, but it's difficult to me, I'll notice myself and I'll go, oh my God, I'm not doing that thing. I feel like I'm stressed out. And then I'll be like stopping myself on purpose and then saying, but you're doing a good job. You're doing a really good job here. I'm telling you, you're doing a good job because, hey, you're making progress. You're doing something that's really difficult that you don't want to do and it's stressing the hell out of you. But you're doing it. And then I'll stop and praise myself, because what happens is we spiral into self-talk that's negative, especially if you're self-loathing or self-hating for a number of years. You're going to go automatically to negative talk about yourself. So what we need to do is bring awareness to how we're speaking to ourselves and how we're behaving to ourselves and how we're treating ourselves, and what the things that we want to do for a best friend we have to do for ourselves. So even if you don't like yourself right now, I want you to think of this best friend, and this best friend you have to do the things for, and that person is you, but you can do it through the best friend. Does that make sense? Because if you're not able to be like fully in your own body, and you can't, you know, you hate yourself so much that you can't be fully who you are in your own essence because of the disconnect, you need to do this through like a third type of party to be able to get it back to you. Does that make sense? It's like a triangle. So you go through, like, you'd make like a coach, like alter ego or best friend alter ego up for yourself, and then divert that back to yourself. Does this make sense? This is a technique that you can use, which is very effective if you are not used to self-loving and you can't bring yourself to do that for yourself. It's like you're going through someone else and that someone else is doing it back to you, so you're not doing it to yourself. It's a way of psychologically being able to get around the situation and problem so that you're able to do things for yourself you wouldn't usually do. Because if you're not used to doing these things for yourself and you don't want to do them directly for you, you need to do it through someone else. But it's not literally a person in your life. It's like an alter ego. It's like another version of you, if you like. It's like you've pulled yourself out of yourself and you're either a coach to yourself, giving yourself advice and guidance in difficult times, like a voice, or you're a best friend to yourself. But you've got like this other person there if you're not able to do this within. Even now, I have a coach voice in me because I get really stressed and anxious. And when I'm in a huge anxiety state, even though I love myself, I can't cope very easily sometimes. And it's like I have this coach, like, for example, if I'm at a hotel and I've got to pack the next morning and I'm really struggling to pack quickly and like stuff is everywhere because I've got all these creams for different things on my hands and everything like this because I got dermatitis, I've got loads of allergies and all this type of thing. So what I'll do is like I'm in a panic. Sandra's in a panic and I'll be like, oh my god, I'm doing so bad, you know, the negative talk comes in there. Oh my god, I'm not going to make it. Oh my god, I'm stressing out. Oh my god, I'm panicking. So then I'll activate the coach in me and the coach will be saying, okay, I hear you. Right, you have to acknowledge your negative emotions. I hear you. I understand you. I understand your stress. But I just want you to put this one item in the suitcase now. Can you do that for me? So this is very important because if you have this alter ego, this coach or best friend, all they have to do is tell you the one next thing that you need to do. Because if you try and focus on too much all the time, you'll become so overwhelmed. And we don't want overwhelm for you because you'll stop trying to do this process at all, right? We just want baby little steps to self-love, right? So what this self-love looks like in practice for me is like when I say like I'm saying things that aren't good about myself, I'll then switch it around to, oh my god, I'm saying something horrible to myself. So I now need to turn that into praise, like, oh, but you're doing a really good job. But I'm stressed out. Yes, but you're still here. You're still showing up. You're still trying your best. But I'm stressed out. I'm anxiety induced. Oh, yeah, I hear you. But look how resilient and strong you are in this moment. Look how you're still here. You're still pushing through life and you're still trying to get this done. This is really amazing. Because one of the things I look for in a best friend is praise. So if I give that praise to myself, it makes me feel better. You should have just listed, you should have had a list of the qualities you want in a best friend. If you had a best friend to you, right? If you can't have a best friend, put it as a coach. Like if you had someone giving you advice, telling you what to do, what traits would you look for in them? This is important as well because people who self-loathe and dislike themselves, they don't think about what they need from other people. They just think about what they can do for other people or what people think of them. But in relationships, including with yourself, you need to become aware of your own needs because your own needs are valuable and they are valid. And people have told you you're not supposed to have needs years ago, or they've dismissed your needs or ignored your needs, right? And that's been going on for years probably. So now you need to realize that you are allowed needs, that you can have needs, and that it's good that you have needs. And it's okay to speak up about those needs, right? This is why the exercise about what would you need from a best friend is so important. Because like someone said in this chat earlier, if you don't know what you want or need, how is anyone else supposed to know that? And we have to learn to communicate with others about our wants and needs. But that might be quite scary if we're not used to advocating for ourselves. So if we're going through a third like party, like an alter ego coach or best friend, we're not involving someone else. This is lowers the stakes of saying what we need. But if we can understand that we're okay to have needs and there's nothing wrong in that, this is like a big step towards self-love. Self-love is understanding you've got needs. You can meet those needs. You should have those needs met. And we have to meet those needs for ourselves. But this requires a lot of self-reflection and self-awareness that's only going to come over time, right? It's big baby steps before big steps, right? So let me go and see if there's anything in chat that I need to answer. and then we will move forward with this talk, right? So I'm only going to obviously answer questions that are relevant to this chat. So, oh, my pronouns are she and her. I'm female, assigned female at birth. So, so yeah, this live stream is not pre-recorded for the person who is writing that with remix at the end of their name. So, I'm just going to get rid of some of these horrible comments. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not making it nice for other people. Saying something about an animal that's horrible like that is just, you know, it's not nice. Hello, Ace Snippers. Is that how you pronounce your name? So it's not normal or healthy to be asexual. It's not a hormone balance at all. So I'm going to, anyone who's disrespecting me or other asexuals will just get removed from this channel, because I'm not having people being rude in chat. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, let's keep this chat respectful, please. This is a serious topic, and we don't need people in chat making things worse for people here. This needs to be respectful community, you know, not posting things that's utter nonsense or things that are not nice about animals and stuff like that, right? Let's keep this chat civil. You know, people need to hear this. It's very important advice. Not enough people in the world self-love, right? So let's keep this chat civilized. Asexuality is a sexual orientation that's based on the lack of sexual attraction, for those people who've been asking that in chat. And I'm asexual. I found out I'm asexual in 2014. And no, it's not a hormonal problem. I have nothing wrong with my hormones. I actually have high levels of arousal, zero sexual attraction. So if anything, my hormones are very high. Most likely, but you know what I mean? There's nothing broken, nothing wrong with you being asexual, right? But this brings me on to my next point, right? So what if the problem is your asexuality and you finding that really difficult? Well, first of all, I'm sorry for the people in chat that have been rude and writing silly comments about asexuality, because this is not on, and I don't like these people. They're not obviously nice people, because they're coming just to cause problems and just make you feel bad about yourself, right? And for anyone who hasn't got a lot of self-love right now, that can be really, really tough. So first of all, we need to understand that if people being rude, ignorant, saying horrible things to us or about asexuals, that is a reflection of their worth and how they value themselves and see the world, putting other people down basically to make themselves feel good. That's not a reflection of your worth, right? So asexuals are just as valid to be here in life as any sexual orientation, right? You do matter. Don't let anyone make you feel small or invalidated or put down or belittled just because they are being rude or ignorant or not very nice, right? That's the reflection of how they are as a person. I wouldn't dream of coming on someone else's show or in any videos and speaking to someone like that, right? I wouldn't. And these people probably do hate themselves that are actually going around doing that, because if that's all they're doing with their life is being rude and obnoxious to other people and disrespectful, I can't think they have a very nice life for themselves, right? Having said this, that's no excuse to accept this bad behavior from people. So we need to understand in life that we can't change other people, that when people leave rude comments and horrible things they say, that's a reflection of them. It's not a reflection of your worth. We can't change these people. All we can do is say, I'm not accepting this in my life. So by blocking them on my channel, you block them on your social media if you have them, in your life, and they're behaving like that. By doing that, you're actually advocating for yourself, which is a huge part of self-love. So self-love is about understanding what you like, what makes you happy, how you would want someone to treat you. And you have to do all those things with yourself over time via the coach like I've talked about, or the best friend to yourself, like the alter ego you. And then you have to understand, obviously, what you dislike, what don't you like about the way people speak to you, what doesn't feel good to you, what feels hurtful and painful. And then you have to understand that in your life, you might have some people that are really not good for you, right? And so we need to limit our time with these people or get them out of our lives, right? After we have had an opportunity to ask them, well, tell them how we feel, and basically talk to them if it's safe to do so, and see if they'll change their behavior to be more respectful. But if you're dealing with people in your life that are rude, obnoxious, unsafe, and they're just being like some of these people were in chat, which I've got rid of now, then you know, we don't need this in life. You do not owe anyone anything. I don't owe people who come onto this channel to sit here disrespecting me or my community that I've built here, right? I don't need that in my life. It's not good for me, right? So you have a right in your life to block people out of it, to walk away, to say no to people, to change your mind about having someone in your life if they start disrespecting you, being rude to you, having really bad behavior with you, right? You don't need that in your life, right? So just know that it's okay to let these people go. It's okay to block people on social media. In fact, if people are being rude, obnoxious, and horrible to you, you should be blocking them on social media. You shouldn't be thinking, oh, I just got to be kind. It's not about kindness. It's about advocacy, self-respect, and protecting yourself, right? If you had a best friend, wouldn't you want to love them, care for them, protect them, be kind to them, caring of them, all these things, right? All these things now, your responsibility to give yourself. It's for you to do all these things with yourself, right? So I like spending quality time with myself. This is a really big thing for me without looking at my phone every few seconds, right? I look at my phone a lot because I do a lot of, you know, YouTube. I'm on this channel like throughout my days usually. But there's certain times where I have to have time to myself, either to do something that really has to be done, which was like yesterday throughout the night I had to work on a legal email that took me hours to do. I mean absolutely hours. And other times, you know, I like to have just quality time with myself where I'm relaxed and feeling happy doing something I enjoy. So usually every Sunday, tomorrow is no exception. It's probably today now, is it? I don't know where the clock's gone. I've gone into the next day. Oh yeah, just gone over midnight. Today now I'm going to the cinema to self-date. So what I would like you to do, even if you don't feel like it, I would like you to set a date in your diary, on your calendar, with yourself once a week. This is known as a self-date. This is an intentional self-date. Why does this matter? You know, why can't you just grab a sandwich or something and be done with it? Because that's not the point. The point of a self-date is you set an intentional date, like appointment time with yourself, to show up for yourself and do something that makes you happy. And each week you have to do that one thing, whether it's going out for a meal, going to the cinema, walking the dog in a place you don't usually walk the dog, go for a picnic. If it's wet weather, then obviously you're not going to be able to do that unless it's indoors. Go to a park once a week. It needs to be something that you wouldn't do every day, that you can actually do exclusively for yourself, right? This is so important, because what we have to do in order to self-love is we have to grow our self-worth and our self-trust. And the only way we do that is by making appointments with ourselves, promises to ourselves, and keeping them. This grows self-trust, which increases self-confidence, which increases the ability to love oneself. If you're not showing up for yourself, if you're not doing things for yourself, if you feel like everything that you are is to do with other people, that's not going to be good for you, because you're going to be reliant on others to try and make you happy and to fulfill your needs in and of themselves. Everything, like, it's okay to have needs, and it's okay to have needs with other people, but you don't want to be solely reliant on other people to fulfill all your needs, because that's never going to happen, because everyone's an individual, got their own life, their own things going on in our head. And the more we can be a self-contained unit within ourselves and do things for ourselves, the less other people have power over us. I'll repeat that. The more we can be a self-contained unit within ourselves, the less power other people can have over us. Because when we're able to take care of ourselves, we don't need another person. We'd like to have other people, but we don't need them. So there's not this longing and lack in our lives. There's this empowerment. Oh, I can take care of myself. I can give myself a date. I can take myself out once a week, somewhere I don't usually go to the rest of the week, and somewhere that's different to where I usually go, you know? Different in terms of what I would usually do. Like, for example, I do food shopping every week, right? But that's something that I have to do. I chill out when I do it. I enjoy it when I do it because I chill out with myself when I do shopping. I enjoy it from that point of view. It's quite, it's quite tiring on the body because I have breaks in my spine, if you didn't know that at the moment, and fibromyalgia. So, but I really enjoy chilling out. I go around the supermarket with a trolley, picking all these nutritious foods up, and I feel good to fill my cupboard up, right? It's a feel-good exercise, although it doesn't feel good necessarily in the moment. And that's what I want you to take away from this. The things that you do for yourself, on that list of what you want your best friend to do for you, you need to work your way through those lists, things on the list that I told you about in this video earlier, and you need to work your way through these, and each week just pick one to do that you can feel that you can achieve. Even if you just achieve a fraction of it, it's going to be good for you, because you need to grow your self-love muscle, if you like. So if you like quality time with other people, you need to give quality time to yourself. So switch your phone off, or put it in another room if you don't want to completely switch it off. Put it on silent and just be with yourself, doing some activity you enjoy, some hobby you enjoy for a certain amount of time, at least minimum amount of time, so that you are not chained to your phone and you're not reliant on the outside world for all your validation and to make yourself feel good. So you might enjoy painting, you might enjoy photography, you might just enjoy doing word searches. Or you might want to watch a movie on Netflix or Disney Plus. You might want to chill out with some music. You might want to read a book. You might want to play a musical instrument. All these things. Like, I want you to think, what would make you happy? Or if you can't think about what would make you happy, because maybe you don't want to make yourself happy if you're in a self-loathing phase, or if you're in a self-loathing pattern throughout your life and you're trying to change it, then that coach or best friend, alter ego of yours, what would you do for them? What would you suggest they do? What would you tell them is your favorite hobby? If you had someone here with you now and they said, look, I'm prepared to do any activity that you want to do, doesn't matter what it is, because I know it will make you happy. What is that activity? And whatever that activity is, I want you to do it with you, right? So everything that you want from a best friend, you can get from yourself, right? You can get quality time with yourself, like I said, by putting your phone away, put it on silent, put it out of sight in another room, and just spending time with yourself. If a long period of time is too much, just make it 5 minutes. And you can increase it to 10 when you want, or half an hour if you like to just chill out with a movie. Right? Whatever you want to do, it's okay. Don't feel guilty about it. This is quality time with yourself, and you're growing self-love with yourself. Don't think that you can't do this or feel guilty about spending time with yourself, or any shame. There's no shame in this. This is a positive thing, right? You're doing for yourself, right? So spend that time with yourself doing that activity. And once you've done that activity, or 5 minutes of it, I want you to get a notebook out again and journal down how it made you feel. What did you feel? What emotions came up for you? Did the emotion of joy come up for you? Did the emotion of terror come up for you? Did the emotion of, I'm not sure about this, come up for you? Did the emotion of, oh, I really don't like this? Did the emotion of, oh my God, I can't believe I get to do this thing? I've wanted to do it for so long, but I've never felt like I've had permission to do it. I felt like I've been waiting for someone to tell me to do it. If you're in that position now, you want permission, I give you permission to do this, right? If you can't give it to yourself, I give you permission to every week, make some time to self-date and do your very, very favorite thing that you want to do, or via your alter ego, go and do this thing that the alter ego loves, your best friend loves, right? Go and do that thing that your best friend wants to do, right? Or that you want to do with your best friend, right? The alter ego best friend, you go and do that thing, right? Like once a week, I want you to self-date, and I want you to spending quality time with yourself, right? And I also want you to spend some time on a hobby or interest. You might find that these coincide, but if you are sitting in front of someone now and you know, you've got a best friend and they were asking you what you like to do, if you self-date, right, you wouldn't usually do that with a best friend because you literally self-date, right? If you're spending quality time with yourself, you'd usually spend that time with yourself because the point is you're spending time with yourself rather than other people. Right, by reflecting on what you said you'd like a best friend to do with you, you could find some ideas about what you might want to do with yourself instead. It might be very scary at first. You might be like, well, I want to go in a coffee shop with them. And so if that's what you would want to do, I want you to go in a coffee shop by yourself. And this was going to feel so uncomfortable if you're not used to doing this. Like, all you have to do is go in a coffee shop and buy a drink for yourself, right? And just sit there drinking the drink. You can leave straight away after the drink. Or even if you get halfway through the drink and feel really uncomfortable, you can leave then if you really want. But what I'd like you to do is just go and order that drink. You can sit in a corner away from everyone else if you don't want to be around anyone else. And, you know, drink the drink, right? Because this is making a promise to yourself to do something you want to do, not because you're doing it with someone else, but because you're doing it for yourself. And you're allowing yourself to have a new experience with yourself, because if we keep doing the same things we've done before, we'll stay in the same pattern. So we need to break the pattern. This is called a pattern interrupt. We need to break the pattern of what we've done before for years of our life and go and do something different that we're not used to, that is going to be uncomfortable for us. Right? I realize if you're an introvert, it's going to be more uncomfortable for you than if you're an extrovert. But extroverts can still have social anxiety as well, right? Anyone who's got social anxiety will find this difficult, right? But even if you take a book to read, so if you don't want people, if you're worried about people looking at you, you don't want to engage with other people, take a book to read, take a magazine to read, take a newspaper to read, take music to listen to, take a journal. So you're literally looking on your journal. You know, there's a number of things you can do. Personally, I don't think the news is a very good idea because it can cause a lot of dis-ease in the mind. You know, it's a lot of terror, a lot of fear. So I personally don't recommend the news unless it's a local news of like things you love, like your favorite hobbies. Do you know what I mean? If you're subscribed to a newsletter and it's like artist newsletter, this is the latest news and the latest art exhibits in your city or something like that, then that's good because it's to do with your hobby and what you love. But if it's just a general news which has got a lot of murder, death, rape, destruction in it, then I don't recommend that because that's just going to make your mind bad and make you fearful. And what we need to do is get you into a relationship with yourself where you're not fearful anymore. You're not fearful of loving yourself. You're not fearful of being with yourself. You're not fearful of actually treating yourself well. And obviously, this is going to be very different to how other people have probably treated you if you're in a position where you've been self-hatred or self-loathing for so long, right? We need to switch this around. It's not going to be easy. You need to ask yourself, though, do you want this change? Because in order to change anything, you've got to want change to happen. You've got to feel so bad and so much pain and be so fed up with your life that you really want the change to happen in order for you to make it happen and make it stick. Usually change doesn't come about because we're having a great time in our life. Some of it can, but the really difficult things we need to do in our life often come from painful situations we've been in where we realize that we just can't take the life we've had anymore and something's got to change. And when you think and stop and think, I'm going to be with myself 365 days a year for the rest of my life. Do I really want to be hating on myself, being horrible to myself, disrespecting myself, calling myself names, having negative self-talk? Is that going to help me in my life? Am I going to be able to think I'm going to be happy for the rest of my life doing that? The answer should be no, right? You shouldn't want to disrespect yourself. You shouldn't want to not love yourself. You shouldn't want to hate yourself, right? If you do, we've already established why that is, and it's okay that you have done that in your life. I don't want you to feel shame or blame for that because it's okay to be where you're at in life. All emotions are important to embrace, right? And we have to realize the emotions we have and understand them to work through them. Because when you start doing things that's to self-love, it's going to feel like an alien thing to you, right? And when we're in this high sexual world as asexuals, we can feel out of place. We can feel misplaced. We can feel like an alien that just doesn't fit in. So I want you to take the focus off the outside world and all the sexual stuff that goes on in the sexualized world we live in. And I want you to put the focus back on you and how you can make your own life and yourself happy in your own little world within the bigger, wider world, right? Because we need to be content within ourselves. I personally don't have a TV license anymore. I don't watch TV, right? So I don't watch soap operas which have people's boobs on display, which used to make me feel so uncomfortable. And I don't have to watch sex scenes like in soap operas and stuff. I used to be a soap addict years ago. It wasn't easy for me to do that. But when I went to a seminar for business, like entrepreneur seminar, they're like, do you realize how many hours every day you're wasting of your life just watching mindless TV, endless amounts of TV, when you could be actually doing something productive and growing yourself and improving your skills and improving your confidence and improving your self-worth. And when I saw, like, you know, like I'm putting all this time and effort into all these different soaps with fictional characters, really, like, you know, worried about what's going to happen to them next, I realized that I was like a slave to drama, and that I was being hooked emotionally on those programs, because that's what they're designed to do. They're designed to create like a dopamine effect in you that's addictive. And I realized it's like a form of addiction. There's lots of people that have addictions in this world that aren't necessarily drugs or anything like that. They're addictions of the mind and of the nervous system, right? It's not your fault, right? But we need to understand that we could be wasting hours of our life away. Like if you watch TV all the time, right, what I want you to do is stop doing that and take some of that time to switch the TV off and do something else. And make yourself, right? Sometimes we have to make ourselves and force ourselves to do things that we wouldn't usually do in order to change ourselves. In order for me to stop watching, I don't watch any TV now, but in order for me to stop doing that in the first place, I had to realize that I was wasting my life away and time away every single night by just doing that. By just coming home from when I worked for an employer and just doing that every night, I'm not actually growing myself. I'm not growing my intellect. I'm not growing my skill set. I'm not growing my own life experience. I am literally living in a fantasy world, if you like, with other people, and I'm caring about fictional characters that have no bearing on my actual life or my own self. They can't help me become a better person. They can't help me grow myself. And so when I saw the contrast between me spending hours doing something that's not going to progress me in life compared to me changing and stopping watching as much of that, I couldn't not watch it just like that. I had to like take time out from it, say like an hour first or whatever, or even half an hour. I'm not going to watch the TV for half an hour. I'm going to switch it off and I'm going to do something different purposely for like 30 minutes. If that's too difficult for you, just do something for like 10 minutes. This is where you purposely take time out and you don't go back and do the TV. You have to do something different. Take the dog for a walk if you've got a dog. Fold the washing if you've got washing to do. Or do something nice for yourself, which is even better, because if you're doing something nice for yourself that's not related to a thing you used to do, you're more likely to want to do the new thing than the old thing. So, for example, with me, I would do courses, like online courses, for example. And if it's a choice between watching the TV, which is passive for my mind, or doing courses that I'm like, oh, I'm growing my skills here, I'm feeling better in myself because I'm growing my skills, then I'd start to pull away from the TV and want to grow my skills more. And the reason I started self-loving was because I realized all of the skills, knowledge, and experience I have in my life from my previous jobs that I can impart to other people, and that I can help other people in their life because of all these things I've done and know. Right? I worked in retail for a long time. As soon as I left college, I went into newspapers, working in newspapers for a bit. And then I went straight into retail after that. I worked in newspapers for Totnes Times for 3 months. Not many people know that about me. It wasn't sustainable because there wasn't enough hours and money for the hours where I lived, because I lived next to and it was Totnes. But anyway, I am digressing. My point is if you start to do something different and do something else, you might prefer that to the thing you've been doing for years without realizing it. But unless you try it and be disciplined with yourself and set yourself like X amount of time to do something different, then you're not going to know any different, because we can only know different things by doing different things. I repeat that. We can only know different things by doing different things, right? And it was literally when I realized that I have skills, knowledge, and things I've learned in my life that are valuable. And I want you to think about all the things that you know that you've learned in your life that is valuable to you, whether that's just a friendship lesson, whether that's just a skill in how to, have the best can opening technique, for example, whether it's how to read a book quicker or how to fold your laundry in a certain way, whatever it is. Just I want you to list the skills you have, the experience and knowledge you have, list them down in a journal. Why is this good? Because it's reflecting back to yourself the things that are worth something, that make you valuable. I want you to understand that your value and worth is not what you do, it's who you are as a person. But when we do things that make us feel good about ourselves and we do more of them, then it enhances our own self-worth and self-esteem. But ultimately, we want to be changing our self-loathing and self-hatred. We want to be turning that into respecting ourselves, caring about ourselves, spending time with ourselves, and really getting to know who we are as a person. Because this is all to do with self-love. Self-love is to do with doing things that you enjoy, that light you up, that make you happy and feel good over and over again. So something I mentioned on this channel a long time ago is I want you to create a happy list. This is a minimum of 10 things that make you happy. On my happy list, I have going to the cinema, watching movies, taking a hot shower, which is something very simple, doesn't cost any money, makes me feel really good. Writing, nowadays YouTubing, and listening to music. That makes me feel really happy. Eating delicious, yummy foods. That makes me really happy. Praising myself. That makes me feel really happy. Spending time with myself. That makes me really happy. And being able to take care of myself, being able to have a fridge full of food and cupboards stocked up makes me feel secure within myself. So whatever it is, put that down. Like simple things like, do you like a bubble bath, or do you like to light incense sticks? Do you like to just have some nice cozy slippers? Like, what are the things that make you feel good? So what we have to do in our life, we have to be a feel-good detective. And we have to work out what makes us feel good in our life and do that over and over again to feel better about our life and better about ourselves. So we need to start getting aware of what we feel good about, what makes us feel good and what makes us feel bad in life, right? So when you're talking to other people, I want you to note how their words, actions make you feel. Like, when this person did this, it made me feel X, Y, and Z. Right? Now, ideally, you need to be talking to that person if they made you feel bad, disrespected, hated on, or something like that, right? Now, if you're not at that stage where you have that much confidence yet, I want you to just write this down for yourself. Like, how did that thing make you feel? And I want you to become aware each day of how your emotions are feeling for you. Like, so when you take a shower, how does that make you feel? Do you feel good that you're cleansing yourself, that you're making yourself feel nice smelling for yourself? Do you feel good that you've just, touched your own skin? Do you feel good that you've just replenished yourself? Do you feel refreshed, revitalized, revigorated? Do you feel like you just feel good to just chill out by yourself, like with less distractions, no TV unless you've got TV in the bathroom, and what makes you feel good? So when you find out what makes you feel good, then write it down. So you end up with like a list, a manual for yourself about what makes you feel good about yourself and what doesn't. So if you had an interaction with a neighbour and you know when you talk to that neighbour, it almost makes you feel bad. Is there some way in which you can talk to the neighbour about how they make you feel? Or if you just can't, is there a way that you can maybe do something at different times so you see less of that neighbour? I have luckily lovely neighbours here. I'm really thankful that in the place I live now, the people inside the flats are really lovely, you know. Some of the screaming outside sometimes not very good, but you know what I mean, on the streets. But I actually really grateful for the people here. So we need to be looking at our mood, how it changes, and how what other people are doing and we're doing for ourselves makes us feel. This is like a reflection process. So we have to have awareness. Remember, going back to the formula for how to self-love, awareness at the beginning of why we feel the way we do. If we self-loathe, self-hate, where does that come from? I.e. bullying, childhood trauma, emotional neglect, feeling like we're not good enough because other people have made us feel like that, right? Awareness. Then we need to claim where we are now. This is where I'm at in my life. This is what's led me to get here. But no longer am I going to tolerate this. Why? Because I spend 365 days a year with myself. And if I continue down this path, saying things that are negative to myself, feeling bad about myself, not liking or loving myself, is going to be a bleak future for me, right? It's going to be a painful and hard future and not nice for me, right? We don't want pain. Human beings do not want pain, right? But the other path that's going to take a long time to go down, but will be worth it in the end, the better path, that's the self-loving path, right? I may not be able to understand it right now. I may not be able to see this path ahead, but even if I just take a little tiny step on this self-love path, I know that my life is going to incrementally, infinitely get better because I'm going to go away from this path of darkness and feeling bad about myself and not liking and loving myself. And I'm going to go towards this path that's going to feel uncomfortable, that's going to be scary, but that's going to give me a sense more about who I am. And maybe I don't want to look at myself fully and reflect now. And that's okay, right? It's okay to be where you're at. But we need to just take baby steps in order to think this is going to be a better life for us long term, right? Going to the negative side of ourselves and keep doing that, it's not going to make us happy. If you think about how much self-loathing and hatred you've had for yourself because you kept going down that, and every time you say things negative to yourself, you're reinforcing that belief that you are not worthy in life, that you are not meant to be cared for, you're not meant to have praise, right? So we need to change the language we say to each other and say to ourselves, most importantly for this self-love video, right? This self-love educational video that I'm doing in real time at the moment. You can watch it on replay. If you're watching on replay, lots of love to you. Once it's finished, when I finish talking. So I hope you can see the process. And so what we need to be doing is little baby steps. Like what I said, what did I say? Once a week, I want you to self-date. And I want you to do something that is either for your self-date or as a separate activity that is something you enjoy, like a hobby or interest. So 2 things for yourself, ideally. One is to self-date, an intentional date you set with yourself to go and do something for yourself. This is something you wouldn't do on a daily basis, usually, right? And then the other is a hobby or interest, right? I want you to do the hobby or interest at least once a week. Ideally, we want to be doing something like 20 minutes a day of our favorite thing to do, right? And eventually we want to change our life so that we're doing more of the things that we love, enjoy, make us happy and make us feel good about ourselves, and far less of the things that don't make us feel good about ourselves. Because we need to counteract all that negativity that we've had in life, all the self-hatred and the self-loathing. We need to go over here to the light, as it were. And we need to get away from that life because that life sucks us back in. It pulls us, and we're going to have to exercise our muscles, our mindset muscles, and say, I'm not going to be dragged into that because that's not the way I want to continue my life, because it's not making me happy. It's not making me happy. And I have a right to be happy. You have a right to be happy. Don't let anyone tell you don't. You have a right to be happy. You have a right to love yourself. You have a right to be respected. You have a right to be wanted and needed and loved and cared for. It's very important you understand this, right? I give you permission if you can't give yourself permission to do this with yourself, right? So write down what you're going to do for your self-date and put it in the diary, put it in the diary about what you want. If you've got a diary, stick it in the diary. 10 a.m. cinema. You probably can't see my writing, but it's there, right? I've already booked it up. I'm going to see Smurfs in the morning, right? It's a fun, it's light-hearted thing, and it makes me feel good about myself. So if we're looking to translate the qualities that we want in a best friend, and things we want to do with a best friend, then we need to, and translating them to what we need to do for ourselves to be the best friend to ourselves. Quality time, as I said before, we require either switching off your phone, putting it on silent, or putting it away in another room, so you're having time out from it. It would look like, so if you want to go to a cafe with a best friend, it would look like going to a cafe by yourself, right? If you want to go to the theatre with a best friend, what would that look like? Yes, you've guessed it. Doing and going to the theatre by yourself, right? Dress up for yourself, right? This is really important. Dress up for yourself. How would you dress up if you were going for your hottest best friend date or your hottest romantic date, right? When I say hottest, like looking your best, feeling the best, like feeling amazing. Like what would that person be wearing? What would they be doing? Would they be smiling at you? Would they be giving you praise, saying that fantastic? Would they be saying it's so good to see you? I'm going to love spending this time with you. Whatever that best friend, your ideal best friend would say to you, say that to yourself. So when I'm going out to the cinema, I'm like, I'm already pumped. I booked it. I'm like, I've booked it. It's in the diary. I've got my alarm set already for it in the morning. And I'm like, I'm going to love it because the cinema helps me relax. It helps me spend quality time with myself because I'm not looking at my phone. It helps me to just center myself. What does that mean? It means I'm calm within myself a lot more. It means I'm focused on just being in the moment with something I'm enjoying and it's feeling good for me. And it's taking me out of my normal environment, my normal home life, flat environment. So it's giving me a different flavor of life in that moment. For me, the cinema feels like a Disney magic moment. I'll go and watch things at the cinema that I've even got on Disney Plus because I want the big screen experience and just being out of my home in a different environment. It can make you feel refreshed, revitalized, and reinvigorated. And then like on the daily basis, you should be having a happy list. And I want you to do at least 3 things a day on your happy list, ideally. If you just go 1 a day, that's still an improvement, right? If you can't do 1 a day, 1 every other day. But make sure you try and do something on your happy list every day, ideally, right? You want to be doing something on your happy list at least once every day, like 1 thing every day, right? Ideally. We don't live in an ideal world. But every other day, 3 times a week, minimum 3 times a week. Can you do that? So this is all about practicing things that bring you joy within yourself so that you can foster loving yourself, because you've got to give yourself reasons to love yourself. You should just love yourself because you do, right? Because you are you, right? You don't need to prove anything to everyone or anyone. You don't need to prove or do or be something for someone else. You just need to be here in this moment and realize you're valuable just as you are in your essence of being, just because you're a beautiful, unique human being. That's all you need to realize. But we do like to do things, and when we do things, the things we choose to do can influence our mood and how we feel about ourselves. That's what I'm saying. So make sure that we're focusing on things that make us feel good about ourselves, not doing things that make us feel bad. So for example, if you've got a playlist that's repeating stuff that's depressive, I want you to stop listening to that playlist, and I want you to go and find songs that are happy songs, that are positive songs, right? Because in order to change your life, you need to change what you've been doing and do the opposite. If you're telling yourself negative self-talk, what do you need to be doing? Having positive self-talk. If you're doing things that aren't of your interests just to please other people, to stop doing that and do things that please you for yourself. If you're looking to get praise from other people, you're not getting it, you need to give praise for yourself. Praise for the way you look, praise for the way you just are in life, praise for your uniqueness, right? One of the huge benefits about being asexual is we're more unique than a lot of people, because the majority sexual orientation is heterosexual, right? But by being a different sexual orientation to the majority of the population, we are in fact even more unique. And that is a special gift to the world. This isn't a problem. This is a beautiful thing. This means we can have more analytical mind when it comes to making decisions about relationships or life itself. This means we can have more time to focus on other things. This means sometimes we can even be a good listener in times of relationship difficulties for other people, because we might have more sound advice because we're more distant from the situation and we can see things differently because we're not sexually charged. Obviously asexuality is a spectrum. There's pure asexuals and grey asexuals. Some grey asexuals do experience sexual attraction, but only under limited, rare or specific circumstances. So, and there are some sex favorable asexuals, usually on the more grey end of the asexual spectrum, but all asexuals are valid. So I just wanted to point that out. But if you're a sexual person watching this, then obviously you still deserve self-love. Every sexual orientation deserves self-love. But I just know it can be harder for some asexuals to self-love when they feel like they're at a disadvantage. Like, oh, maybe I'm never going to have kids. I'm not going to get married. I'm not going to have a normal life, right? So we instead of thinking about what we don't have, what we lack, we need to focus on what we do have. Like, if we can't have the life that we thought we're going to have, what would your ideal life look like now? Write it down. Remember, get the journal out. Write this down. What would your ideal life look like now if you're not going to have kids, if you're not going to get married? What would your best ideal life be like without those things? I want you to write it down, because I want you to have aspirations, something to work towards. Because when we have aspirations and things to work towards, it takes our focus off negativity and it puts us in a position of power to be able to take some small steps forward to achieving something. And when we focus on achievements, we can end up not being so withdrawn into ourselves and focusing on the negativity about ourselves. We can end up focusing more on something else, which distracts our mind. Sometimes when we're trying to get out of a self-loathing or self-hatred mindset, we need to distract ourselves out of that mindset. This is like a pattern interrupt. You need to interrupt the negativity that's been going on for years and stop it by distracting it and detracting from it and going off and doing other things you wouldn't usually do. I hope this is making sense. To change any pattern in our life, and self-loathing and self-hatred is a pattern, we need to be changing what we're doing to make sure that pattern doesn't stay. Because if that pattern stays, like I said, it's going to be more painful. Although change is hard and it is painful, the pain of change in this scenario is much less than the pain of staying the same and going into a dark hole, right? We need to be moving away from that and going into the best version of ourselves, which is going to take quite some time. Just think of it like another full-time job, but one that you're going to enjoy doing, or at least try to enjoy doing, or at least be okay with. Or even if you're not okay with it, just think, well, it's going to be an interesting job to try, like work experience. I'm just going to do this work experience and I'm just going to see if it does work for me. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to test it. I'm going to be a road tester, like testing a new product or something. I'm just going to test it out and see how it says. See how it says, see what it, so I was going to say, see how it goes, but see what it says. What I mean by that, actually, when I said that, is see what comes up that you're saying to yourself about it, right? Because when we go in situations, we can often, if we become self-aware, like think, what am I thinking right now about this? This is what you're saying internally to yourself. So what does this situation say to you? Is it making you uncomfortable? Don't forget, if you're changing patterns, you're going to be a bit uncomfortable. Well, could be quite a lot uncomfortable at first because you're changing something to what you usually do, your usual routine. Right? So we need to become more obsessed with saying positive things to ourselves, putting positive things on our mind, listen to positive affirmations. I listened to someone on YouTube called Bob Baker, Bobbaker, and he's absolutely amazing. He has lots of affirmation videos, and these are positive talk videos. So you watch his videos and you just recite them back, his words, which doesn't take much effort. Or, you can just sit there listening to it and let the words sink in over and over, because the only way you change something in your life, a pattern, is by repetition. So if you want to get used to self-loving instead of self-loathing, guess what? You need to repeat things, like repeatedly praise yourself every day. Write it down, like, have I praised myself today? Yes or no? You can even make a checklist for yourself if you're a very logical person and like to write things down. Like, have I praised myself today? Tick yes or cross no. If you haven't, then that's an opportunity to go, oh, I need to praise myself now. How many times do I need to praise myself? Well, at least once a day, or at least 3 times a day, right? You can monitor it like that, just tick it off. And because it's not going to be second nature to you at first, it's going to be more like a job or doing a task. So write down in your book, like, or on a chart, or create a little chart for yourself, whatever you want to do, a little tick list. Have I praised myself today? Yes or no? Tick, yes. Have I done at least one thing from my happy list today? Yes or no? Yes. Tick. You could put also what you actually did if you want to make yourself more accountable, because we have to take accountability and responsibility for our own life now, and stop looking for other people to make us happy in general. Make ourselves happy first and foremost. And if other people make us happy, that's a bonus. Of course, we shouldn't be accepting disrespect and people that are mean to us and rude. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we need to focus on giving our self-love and happiness first and foremost, rather than relying on other people, right? So all this is about writing stuff down. So you should have a list of what makes you happy. So have you done at least one thing on your list today? Yes or no? And then if it's a yes, you can tick that off. Have I had a self-date this week? Yes or no? No. Okay, so I want you to put in your calendar now, in your diary, a date with yourself. I want you to actually put it in. Book something up. Theatre, cinema, restaurant meal. If you can't book the restaurant in advance, and I want you to just put time, you're going to make sure that you are thereby eating or left your home. You need a time, because self-dating is all about being intentional and specific. Because if you're not intentional, you could just say, oh, I'll date myself like in 3 weeks or whatever, or I'll do it, and never get it done. You need to put it in the diary or on the calendar physically. Do the physical act of doing it, right? It's very important. Until you get into a routine of these things and know what works for you, and that you'll do it more like second nature, you need to be like doing the logical tick box system, right? So hobbies or interests. Have you done something for yourself for a hobby or interest this week? Yes or no? Or today, the specific your day you're on. Obviously, the more you can do of these within a single day is going to be better. Ideally, we want to be doing self-praise every day, and at least one thing that makes us happy every day, and ideally working on something to do with a hobby we have every single day, or something that's a love of our life, that's a passion, every single day. Right, so really self-praise and doing things that make us feel good over and over again, right? I want you to become aware of what makes you feel good, what makes your emotions go well and not so well. So I did a video earlier about, can a blue pen change your mood? Can this change your mood? Right? And I discovered that this pen, well, I did a video earlier, which was yesterday now, because we've gone over midnight in the UK. I started writing with this pen, my accounts, because I'm a self-employed writer. So I started writing in blue instead of black, and it made me feel calmer and happier. So I'm like, I'm going to use this pen from now on. I might have to try and get some more of these, because all my pens, the majority of them, at least I should say, not all of them, are black. Right? So I need to get some more blue ones, because this made me feel good. Feels calming. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think, find out little things. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. I think if you think it's a huge thing, you're going to more likely not be able to do these things. So just think about little things. Like I said, a hot shower makes me feel good. What makes you feel good? Lighting a candle, putting fluffy slippers on, making yourself a certain type of food, whatever it is, go do that thing for yourself, right? If you want someone to praise you, you have to praise yourself every single day. At least one praising every single day. Like, I did a good job. I took the rubbish out. Did a good job. I managed to finish my accounts. I did a good job. I managed to do that horrible email. I did a good job. I managed to make myself some food, even though I felt like, oh, I don't want to. I did a good job. I cut something up. I cut some carrots and vegetables up, and oh, it's such a chore doing that. I just like tires me out chopping. So it was a point, but I did it for myself, and that's good. See what you're doing. You're saying that maybe life isn't great, or not everything is good that you do, but even so, you're going to praise yourself for it because you still showed up for yourself. You still did the thing you might not have even wanted to do, and that shows great resilience and strength within yourself, right? So always do these things. Obviously, whatever sexual orientation you are, these things equally apply, but with asexuality, obviously, you have difficulties usually with, like I said, you feel like you're speaking a different language to other people, right? So we need to stop thinking that we have to live up to the sexual world's expectations. And it's okay to be different. It's okay if we don't want sex. It's okay if we don't experience sexual attraction. It's okay if we don't feel like everyone else feels. It's okay to feel differently. If you feel like you're an alien or you don't fit in, I get that because I have felt that a number of times in my life, and I know it's really difficult. So what we need to be doing, even more importantly for us, is building our own little world, a world away from the world, or a world within the world, ideally, because we don't want to cut ourselves off from having connections with other people with different sexual orientations, and we don't want to cut ourselves off from the world completely. But by creating our own little world, our own sanctuary within ourselves and our home and our life, we can make ourselves have a much more stable, secure base. Because what happens is, with all the sexual stuff going on in the world, it can make us feel like disorientated, like we're not connected to ourselves, because all this stuff that goes on in the outside world, all this over sexualization, this advertising, all this, like, it can make us feel like, oh my god, what is the world like looking at? Like, why is everyone so obsessed with sex? Right? It can make you feel that way, like something's wrong with you. But I want you to know nothing is wrong with you. You are not broken. It's perfectly normal for some asexuals, or many asexuals, to feel this way. And it's okay to create your own life for yourself in a way that works for you. Right? I don't go to bed at usual times because it doesn't work for me. Usually, right? Sometimes I'm so tired I have to go to bed early, but a lot of the time I go to bed at 4 a.m. right? Because that's my usual sleep time the majority of the time, and then I wake up at midday. That's my ideal sleep schedule. But life doesn't always work out ideally, does it? But I tend to function better at night the majority of the time than in the day. Like, I'm usually getting up when people are coming home from work or partway through their day, and people are like partway through the day, I'm trying to say, well, I've only just started mine. Or they might be in their evening when I'm in them my morning. You know what I mean? So I want you to know that if you're quirky, if you're different, lean into those quirks and nuances and work with yourself on what's best for you, not what other people dictate to you, say you should want to do and watch and be like. Dress for you. Do things for yourself that make you happy over and over again. Every single day of your life, just do things that make you more and more and more happy, right? And everything that you want a best friend to do with you to make you feel good, do those things for yourself. Quality time with yourself, self-date, praising you, every day praise yourself, buying you a gift, go out and buy yourself a gift. Every week buy yourself a gift, even if it's just a new food treat. Right? It doesn't have to be really expensive. You can buy yourself a little food treat, a little chocolate, or a little, a little punnet of whatever your favorite fruit is, maybe that you wouldn't usually eat, like strawberries or something. Your favorite smoothie that you don't have all the time. Something that just makes you feel good. Just something that makes you feel good. Maybe you want to go to a park, like certain park, the sunset or the way the swings are or something, just make you really happy. Go and do that thing. Don't feel bad or shame. Feel happy and good that you're doing things for yourself. And realize, yes, we live in a world where the majority sexual population is heterosexual, but we don't have to behave like heterosexuals when we're not heterosexual. Unless we do behave like heterosexuals, it's perfectly okay that if you're asexual that blends in, if you like, with heterosexuals, has got some sexual behavior or has some of the same traits as heterosexuals, that's fine. But if you're different, very different, I don't want you to think that's a bad thing. I want you to embrace your quirks, embrace your differences and your nuances as your beauty. And I want you to think you don't have to watch films with sex in them, right? You can just switch that movie off and choose for yourself. I'm not going to watch it. Yeah, I really would like to watch some parts of it, but I'm not going to do it because I'd feel more worse than good watching it. So I'm not going to do it. Friends invite you out, right? But there's a sexual element. I'm really sorry, but I'm not comfortable with that. Tell them. Then go and do something for yourself that makes you feel really happy, because then you won't feel like you're missing out. What we want to create is a cocoon with ourselves where we feel like we're happy and we're not missing out. Right? So when we take care of ourselves as well on our own, the more we take care of ourselves, the more we feel self-reliant, the happier we are in ourselves. Because we're like, wow, I can do this for myself. I don't even need anyone to do this thing for me. I can give this to myself. Yeah, sure, it's nice if other people do this as well, but I can do this. Honesty, if you value honesty in a connection with other people, with a best friend, value that in yourself. Like, be honest with yourself. I'm feeling shit right now. I'm going to do this thing, but I'm feeling shit. Why am I feeling shit? Well, because other people have told me that I shouldn't be doing this because they don't think I'm good at it. I do singing now on this channel, right? Some people think I'm rubbish at it. That's fine. But I like singing, and why not? Like, some people here like my singing, some people don't. They think it's rubbish. But there's two different types of people that, you know, maybe some are in the middle as well. But it's like, well, what do? Just play small in my life and think, well, I'm not doing that because of what other people think? No, don't play small in your life. Play all out in your own life. You only get one life and you're here to live it for you, not other people. Stop worrying about what other people think of you and start living your own life for you. This is the greatest self-love thing you can ever do for yourself. Because when you're doing something for yourself that other people may not like, they may disagree with, they may not appreciate, you're doing it with integrity and authenticity. That's what you want to do, regardless of what anyone else says, thinks, or does. This is how we foster self-love. I do stuff on this channel that some people don't like, other people love. I'm not going to please everyone. Am I here to please everyone in life? I like to please people, but I'm not here to please everyone in life. And, you know, some people are going to get peed off with me because I'm asexual, first of all, and some people seem to have a major problem with asexuals. But I want you to know that if other people have a problem with you being asexual, that's their problem. I'll say that again. If other people have a problem with you being asexual, that's their problem. It's not your problem. It's not your problem. It's not your responsibility to manage the feelings of other people and the emotions of other people. That's on them. If they can't accept who you are for who you are, they don't deserve to be in your life. Right? If they're uncomfortable with it, they don't have to stick around. They could go and do something else, be with someone else, have their own life. You don't owe anyone anything, and they are not required by you to be in your life. You don't need people who are negative, who are not bringing you sunshine and joy to your life, right? Because if you stay around those type of people that are putting you down, belittling you, making you feel bad about yourself, and that's all you hear repeatedly, you're going to believe those things about yourself. So we need to move away from that, and we need to move in our mind and in the words we say to ourselves, in our environment, internal, external environment. This means we need to move away from people, external forces that make us feel bad about ourselves, and move to internal forces, positive self-talk that make us feel good about ourselves, positive affirmations, so that we can rewire ourselves to know that we are lovable, that we do matter, that we should be here regardless of our sexual orientation. That yes, life might have dealt us a hand that we didn't foresee. You know, if you're an asexual person that's not even happy about being asexual, I want you to reflect on why that is. And if it's because you worry that you missing out, why are you worrying you're missing out when everybody's life is different? And we get to live our own unique life, right? If you wanted a kid, if you don't want sex, you can adopt. You can foster. You can babysit someone else's kid, right? You can set up a babysitting service so you don't have to have your own child, but you can look after other people's if you really love kids a lot, but you don't want them because you're asexual, you don't physically want them, or you're not in a financial position to have them. You can make friends with people who've got kids and go to the park with them and their kids and stuff like this, right? There are other ways of doing things that may not be ideally what you wanted, but might be another option. What we need to do is change our original plans and goals in life to be different ones now with our current circumstances. And then we need to grow into what we actually can achieve within our range of what we can in our life, and then expand that range gradually. So just because someone's asexual doesn't mean to say you can't get married. Even if you don't experience romantic attraction, you can still get married if you want to someone who accepts you for who you are and is okay with you not being romantic. To our romantic people, those who lack romantic attraction, and if they're aromantic asexuals, they lack sexual attraction as well, they can both be together if they want. They could have like a queer platonic relationship. They can have like a relationship without sex and without romance. They can still be together. Do you know what I mean? If they want that. But you can equally get a pet and have lots of love from a pet if you want a pet. You can equally, you know, just spend time loving yourself. Like, I love giving myself gifts because I would like another person, if I had a best friend, to give gifts to me and go out for me for meals. Go out for me, I meant with me for meals. You know, do some of the activities I like to do, but I don't have a best friend anymore in my life. So I just do these things with myself, right? Because I have to be a best friend to myself. But why? Because I'm spending every day of my life with myself, and I'd rather be a best friend to myself and treat me the best I can possibly treat me and make me so happy. So I don't feel that I need to cling to people who are no good for me, that I need to put up with disrespect, that I need to stay around people who are clearly not having my best interests at heart, or who are pretending to but don't really have them at heart, right? I give myself praise, I date myself, I buy myself gifts, usually little food gifts. I do things that bring me joy and happiness, and that allows me to live in my personal power and love myself to the best of my ability. And that's all you can do, is love yourself to the best of your ability. But remember, you've only got one human to look after, and that is yourself. That's what happened at birth. You were given this human, yourself, to look after. And that's all you have to do, is look after that one human, which is you. Right? So treat them with kindness and respect. Know that your difference is your beauty. Your asexual difference is your beauty. And instead of looking for what you haven't got in your life, start to focus on what you can create in your life and make for yourself in your life, and how you can make yourself happy and fill your life full of joy, excitement, love, compassion for yourself. Always have compassion for yourself. If you had a shit day, say that I had a shit day, but I'm showing up for myself. I'm still here and I still love myself. It's a bad day, but I'll get through it. I will be okay. This time shall pass. But also give yourself some praise. Like, I got through that shit day. I got through it. Oh my God. I really got through it. This is so good. So good. Right, so lean into what's good. Praise yourself excessively and make yourself as happy as possible. And remember, when you date yourself, dress up for yourself. If you were going out on a date with yourself, or you know, you were dressing up for a friend or whatever, do that for yourself. Be a best friend to yourself. Remember, your alter ego, your best friend to yourself, or coach friend to yourself. If you can't be an actual best friend, your alter ego. If you don't need an alter ego and you can just love yourself as is, great. But an alter ego can be a really beautiful thing, because it's like you're being another version of yourself, and that allows you to put those qualities you don't currently have within yourself onto another thing, part of you, but via alter ego, if you like. So you feel more detached from it, but that thing is then giving you back what you need. But by doing it that way, it takes the pressure off you personally to be able to do something you're not used to doing if you're not used to self-loving. And also, it's just a nice practice to have like another version of yourself that's kind of this wisdom guide saying, you know, have you praised yourself today? Oh, negative self-talk. I've heard a lot of negative self-talk. Can we turn this into compassion right now? Instead of saying, oh my God, I'm doing so bad, can we just remember what you are doing? Can we just remember that you've spent hours doing this and you're still doing good, just doing that, you know. Can we just have some compassion, saying, you know, okay, you've got a stressful time at the moment. I just want you to take time out. Just watch a movie, just chill. Just chill. You don't need to do anything else. Just chill. Just be happy. Or go for a sleep longer. Have a nap if you love naps. Read a book. Chill out with artwork. Yes, but I've got all this to do. Yeah, but you can take 10 minutes out for yourself, 5 minutes. You can just spend a few minutes by yourself. Go shopping. That can I'm having a little like giggle there, but that's because I'm like, oh, when I go shopping, I kind of chill out. So I'm like, oh, get out in the fresh air. I'm going to get yummy foods, which I love. I'm a foodie. And yummy foods make me feel good. And I know nutrition is a really big thing. So if you want some positive emotions, have things high in omega-3s like fish, if you can tolerate fish, if you like fish. I have a lot of mackerel, which decreases inflammation and pain in my body. Get yourself some like yummy fruits, things that make you feel good inside your body. Have different vitamins and minerals within the mix of what you do. That's why I have a mixture of potatoes for starchy carbohydrates, you know, to keep me going energy wise. I have green beans for nutrition. I have 2 mackerel for high protein because I don't eat red meat. So I found out this year that if I'm not eating red meat, that can affect my bone density. So that's why I upped my protein intake to 2 mackerel rather than just having 1 mackerel for a meal. I have 2 together now. I found that much more effective. It's more, I was going to say fulfilling, but it's more filling on the body, you know. And so what I want you to do is when you're doing all these things, bring a lot of self-awareness. Like, how am I feeling right now? What's feeling good in my body? What's not feeling good in my body? Do you have something and it doesn't feel good, even though you like the look of it? If it's not making you feel good, then stop having that thing and start focusing on other things and find other ingredients that make you feel better about yourself. If you are neglecting yourself and you're not washing and you're not dressing and you're not eating foods, then work on that, right? Because you deserve to give that to yourself. You deserve to wash your body, to, you know, nourish it, and that takes the dead skin cells off and things like that. So it's really good for yourself. It's like detoxing the body. When you cook for yourself, you're saying, I'm worthy of making something that satisfies my body, that gives me nutrition, that helps me to regulate my mood better and my emotions better. These types of things. So I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Thumbs up. A thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and share this with anyone you think may benefit from it. If you've got any comments, queries, or questions, please pop them down below, and I endeavour to answer them either in the comments or on another video. I might even do both. And if you haven't already got a copy, get a copy now. Asexual Perspectives book out on Amazon. And also, if you're looking to date, get a copy of Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual book, 78 Life Lessons to Asexual Life. These are both really, really excellent books. This one's got all 5-star reviews on it, the Diary Confessions one. And if you're looking to reduce pain up to 25 aspects of your life and looking for a nice autobiographical book, Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook is a good one to do. It's how to have more energy, less pain, and feel happier like a superhero rock star. So, yeah. Although this book is aimed at people with fibromyalgia, it applies to you however you are, even if you don't have fibromyalgia, because it teaches you how to decrease your pain in multiple aspects of your life. Anyway, I'll see you soon next video live stream. Lots of love. Happy Ace Week, which has actually ended in the UK now. Take care, subscribe, and hit the bell.